swear by the end of the kirtan, even I don't know what I'm singing. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have Bhagavatam classes every day to serve Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai, Gaur Nitai, and to serve the lotus ears of all divine Vaishnavas assembled here. So we're reading from 4th Canto, Chapter 8, Text 33 today. Yasya yaddaiva vihitam satena sukha-dukkhayo atmanam toshayandehi tamasa param vrikshati. Yasya yaddaiva vihitam satena sukha-dukkhayo atmanam toshayandehi tamasa param vrikshati. Yasya yaddaiva vihitam satena sukha dukkhayo atmanam toshayandehi tamasa param rajrichyati. Yasya yaddaiva vihitam satena sukha dukkhayo atmanam toshayandehi tamasa param vrikshati. Anyone from Prabhuji would like to recite? Prabhuji. Yasya yaddaiva vihitam sukha dukkhayo atmanam toshayandehi tamasa param vrikshati. Satena sukha dukkhayo Yasya, anyone, Yat, the which, Daiva, by destiny, Vihitam, destiny, Saha, such a person, Tena, by that, Sukha Dukkhayo, happiness or distress, Atmanam, one's self, Toshayan, being satisfied, Dehi, an embodied soul, Tamasa, of the darkness, Param, to the other side, Rachati, crosses. Translation: one should try to keep himself satisfied in any condition of life, whether distress or happiness, which is offered by the Supreme Will. A person who endures in this way is able to cross over the darkness of nuisance very easily. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai. Material existence of pious and impious fruitive activities, as long as one is engaged in any kind of activity other than devotional service, it will result in happiness and distress of this material world. When we enjoy life in so-called material happiness, it is to be understood that we are diminishing the resultant actions of our pious activities. And when we are put into suffering, it is to be understood that we are diminishing the resultant actions of our impious activities. Instead of being attached to the circumstantial happiness and distress resulting from pious or impious activities, if we want to get out of the clutches of this nuisance, then whatever position we are put in by the will of the Lord, we should accept. Thus, if we simply surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we shall get out of the clutches of this material existence. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी शृण्वतां स्वकथा नित्यं पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनया हृदयन्तो हि अभद्रा विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So we sing last time when I had the fortune to serve devotees by giving a class. We were talking about how Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojan, and how Dhruva was able to realize his Sambandha with the Supreme Lord by the good instructions of Suniti. And he goes to the forest and then he meets Narad Muni, who tells him about his Abhidaya and how to connect with God. And then he goes to the forest, he goes to Madhuvan. He follows the path which his spiritual master instructs him in, and he'll soon get his Prayojan, his worshipable deity, Lord Prishnigarbha, will very soon come and fulfill his desires. Kanchan Vichinman Api Divya Ratnam, Sthanya Bilashi Tapasi Sitoham Tvat Praptavan Deva Munindra Kuyam, Kanchan Vichinman Api Divya Ratnam, Swami Katatosmi Varam Nayache. And then Dhruva, when his desires were purified, we were discussing how akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharadhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajante purusham param. That if you have some desires, if you have no desires, if you have desires, if you have the desire to get liberated, all desires get fulfilled when one serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he engages in the devotional service, and although he had some material desires, they would soon get purified, and what he'll say is Kanchan Vichinvan Api Divya Ratnam. So Sthanya Vilashi Tapasi Sthitam, that I situated myself in these austerities, and I was looking for broken pieces of glass, but I found the diamond, you my Lord. So point one is that over here Narad Muni is trying to test, and he's trying to see and convince Dhruva that he shouldn't take to this resolution. He's just 4 years old, and he should just you should not be envious in life. So all these morality Nardan is trying to preach Dhruva, and he's saying that no matter what, you shouldn't be envious, and you should just accept whatever there is in your fate, whether it's whether you're born as a prince, but if you still don't get the kingdom, it's it's the result of your pious activities. No one is to be blamed for this. So impious activities. So no one is to blame for this. You're supposed to just accept. A similar verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, future it comes. Tatte nukampam susumikshamaano punjava evatvitam vipakam. I'm sorry, I'll have to look for the verse. Punjava evatvitam vipakam ऋत्वाग्वपूभिः विदधे नमस्ते जीवेतयो मुक्तिपदे सतया भक्. And even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is making this point. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna dukkhada agama paya nityastan titikshava bharata. O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and sense objects give rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. These are non-permanent and come and go like the winter and summer seasons. O descendant of Bharat, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So, Narad Muni is trying to give him this moral advice where he's just trying to test. In future, when Dhruva will very humbly tell Narad Muni that these instructions fit very, very well to the Brahmins, but I'm a Kshatriya, and I was listening to His Holiness Radha Govind Das Goswami Maharaj, and he was making this point that for a Kshatriya, he can't to show back in a war is worse than that. Is a Kshatriya is very he's not afraid of physical pain, but mental pain a Kshatriya is not able to handle, and he's really afraid of getting insulted. And a Kshatriya, these are the qualities of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya should never be afraid of facing a war, and a Brahmana should never be afraid of taking bath. So a Brahmana who is afraid of taking bath is not a good example of a Brahmana. So Maharaj was making this point that Brahmanas are supposed to be very clean and hygienic, and they should take bath multiple times a day. And a Kshatriya is, in his nature, it is that he'll never face his back. He'll never show his back in a war. So Narad Muni is trying to give this point, and why? And Narad Muni is saying that, see, whatever you have in this condition of your life, this is because of your previous impious activities, or this is just your fate. So might as well just accept it, and being non-envious to anyone, just go on with life. And this quality of this disqualification of being envy is the greatest is the biggest issue, and it is the prime most reason why we're here. We see in the community of devotees, we see there was no one was envious of anyone. Example, Maharaj Prataputra, when all the devotees were giving blessings, and they were praying for Maharaj Prataputra that he should be delivered, and he should be given favor and mercy by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So everyone was praying for Prataputra, and when during Rath Yatra, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was jumping in ecstasy and showing his ecstatic symptoms. When he fell on Prataputra's on Prataputra, no one was envious. No sannyasi was thinking, "Oh, I'm so renounced. Why didn't Mahaprabhu fall on me?" No brahmachari was thinking, "Why is Mahaprabhu not giving that favor to me?" Everyone was rejoicing that finally Mahaprabhu is trying to. He's acknowledging and he's accepting Prataputra as one of his kinkara, as one of his servants. And this wonderful, but a little humorous pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita comes that when Mahaprabhu is exhibiting these symptoms, all the devotees are making circles just to ensure that the crowd doesn't come too close to Mahaprabhu. So in one such circle, there's Srivas, who is dancing in ecstasy, seeing Mahaprabhu dance, and then behind him is one of the associates of Maharaj Pratapputra. His name is Hari Chandan. So I'll just read out some verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's a quick pastime. We'll just go through it. राजार आगे हरि चंदन देखी श्रीवास हस्ते तन रे स्पर्शी कहे हा एक पास हाय एक पाश. Seeing Srivas Thakur standing before the king, Hari Chandana touched Srivas with his hand and requested him to step aside. नृत्यावेश श्रीनिवास किछुई न जानी बारा बारा तेले तेरी हो क्रोध हैला मानी. Absorbed in watching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance, Srivas Thakur could not understand and why he was being touched and pushed. After he was pushed again and again, he became angry. Chapada Maria Tare Kaila Nivarana Chapada Khana Kruda Haila Hari Chandan. Srivas Thakur slapped Hari Chandan to stop him from pushing him. In turn, this made Hari Chandan angry. Krudahana Tane Ki Chuk Chaha Bhali Bare Apane Pratap Rudra Nivarana Tare. As the angered Hari Chandan was about to speak to Srivas Thakur, Pratap Rudra Maharaj personally stopped him. Bhagavan tumi ihara hastasparsha paila amara bhagya nahi tumi kritartha haila. King Prataprudra said, "You are very fortunate, for you have been graced by the touch of Srivas Thakur. I'm not so fortunate. You should feel obliged to him." So Hari Chandan over here, he was starting to get angry, and he was starting to, you know who I am. I'm the associate of the king, and he was about to go to Srivas, and then Prataprudra Maharaj, in all his humility, he comes and he tells, "Oh, hasta lagaila. You were touched by Srivasa's hands. You've got so many. You're so glorious. What fortune you have." And we see this is the humility of Maharaj Prataprudra. Despite being the king, his attachment and his love and respect towards devotee is why he was favored by Mahaprabhu. And when he was favored by Mahaprabhu, he was no other devotee was envious. We see examples like Ramachandra Puri or other examples where devotees, due to some impious credits, they become envious and they start committing offenses towards the Lord. So when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, this Brahmana comes to the Lord and he tells him that, "My Lord, I'm so sorry. I apologize to you and I beg at your lotus feet for forgiveness because I had offended so many Vaishnavas. I used to go around beating drums and I would tell, in this Kali Yuga, no one can be a Vaishnava. All of this is just a sham. It's fake. No one can be a devotee in this in this great age of Kali. And seeing your associates, I used to blaspheme them, I used to criticize them. When you used to have your kirtans in Srivas Thakur's Angam, I used to criticize outside. I used to call words, and whoever used to sing inside, I would just, for example, Gopal Chapal, how he offended Srivas. He kept all the items used in Kali or Devi's worship, the axe and that threshold on which you sacrifice goats and all those tamasic things. And in the morning he's making he's shouting, see Srivas, they claim to be Vaishnavas and they claim to do Harinam Sankirtan inside, but this is what they're actually doing. And Srivas did not even think it was important to clarify. He said, "Yes, this is what I do," but no one believed him because purity speaks. And so we see that the reason why someone gets favored by the Lord is because they are non-envious. We see, and why is this envy? Why we as humans have envy in us? It is because it is coming from the supreme spiritual world. Obviously, envy doesn't exist in spiritual world, but all the qualities in their perfect, in their ultimate perfection, are in the associates and are in the Supreme Lord. Just like Lord's anger is transcendental, and when it comes to Just like how raindrops, rain is the purest form of water when it's in the clouds. By the time it touches the earth, it's one of the most, it gets contaminated. So in the transcendental sense, it's the Supreme Lord who actually has all these qualities. We see in Srimad Bhagavatam where um, 10th canto, Radharani is, Chandravali is getting transcendentally jealous of Radharani, that why is Krishna favoring Radharani. And in Bhagavatam, um, Kasya padani chaitani yayatya nanda sununa amsha nyasta prakshya karena karina yatha. The gopis said, here we see the footprints of some gopi who must have been walking along with the son of Nanda Maharaj. He must have put his arm on her shoulder, just as an elephant rests his trunk on the shoulder of an accompanying she elephant. So the gopis on the opposite camp of Srimati Radharani are making this, are singing this verse prominently, and they're saying that this gopi who's left with Krishna, and in the next verse, so is left in Krishna, left with Krishna, is being embraced and is being specially favored by Krishna. And then the gopis from the side of Radharani, they're saying Anya Radhitonunam Bhagwan Hari Ishvara Yanno Vihaya Govinda Pritoyam Anayadraha. Certainly this particular, these gopis are making this point that certainly this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead, Govinda, since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us, brought her to a secluded place. So we see that over here these gopis are getting jealous of Radharani transcendently, and they're feeling that, oh, why is she getting favored? But then this jealousy is very different from the envy we see in this material world, and this is the biggest disease in us. That we were envious of the Lord. We were seeing Lord as the supreme enjoyer. We were seeing Lord as being the bhogi, the bhoktaram yakya tapasyam sarvalokamaheshwaram. He's the enjoyer of everything, and we wanted, because we are part and parcels of God, like father, like son, we wanted to enjoy, but we wanted to enjoy separate of Krishna, and that is why Krishna created this material manifestation where we try and endeavor to enjoy, and we were trying to scratch that itch, and more, and as much as we scratch, the itch gets, it becomes into a wound, and then blood and pus starts oozing out. So this is the issue in us. But we see that in the spiritual world, although these qualities exist, but these qualities are just to enhance the mood and the flavor of pastimes. We see Dhruva, although he's exhibiting this anger, and he's exhibiting that this so-called envy towards, he did not really possess this envy. He was not really envious of Uttam. He just wanted to sit on the lap of his father. Envy is, if he doesn't have it, I can't have it. He didn't want Uttama to get off the lap. He wanted to be with Maharaj Uttanapad on the same lap. So Narada Muni is trying to give this, he's giving this advice to Dhruva that you shouldn't be envious, and whatever you have, tattenu kamsam susmekshmana, you should just accept it as your fate, and just carry on with life. So, but we see that sometimes the Lord in our heart, he's motivating us, and sometimes so the Lord in our heart is motivating us to go to go deeper into the philosophy, and focus on the higher principle. Just like, so I was talking about envy, and we see that this quality of being non-envious is very important to devotees. And today is a very great festival. It's Chidadai Panihati Mahotsava, where we see one of the most exalted devotees, Raghunath Das Goswami. He was born in a very affluent and wealthy family, and he was, so from childhood his family priest was Yadunandanacharya, and from childhood he would get an association of very exalted devotees. Although his family was into Krishna consciousness, but it was, they didn't want Raghunath Das Goswami to renounce everything and go. So how in childhood we're fascinated. We go to some rich person's family, and I'm talking about myself. I've had this. So if my father takes me to a very rich man's house, I'm thinking, when I grow up, I'll have a similar house like that. So Lord, when Raghunath Das Goswami was taken to meet Haridas Thakur, Haridas Thakur became his role model. He would come back and he would try chanting like Haridas Thakur. He would listen to the glories of Haridas Thakur and all these exalted personalities, and he would think, oh, I want to become like them. So from childhood, he would get association of the Lord's associates, and then we know that how Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan, but then, um, so when he took sannyas, everyone was very heartbroken, and they thought that the Navdweep Chandra, the Mayapur Chandra has just taken sannyas. What will happen? So everyone was practically dying, and seeing Mother Shachi and Mahaprabhu's wives agony and pain, Nityanand Prabhu, with the help of a cowherd boy, he tricked Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu took a detour to Shantipur, and Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking that earlier when Mahaprabhu would live in Navdweep, I would get updates on Mahaprabhu's day-to-day activities, but now that he's taken sannyas, what will happen? But then he gets to know that Mahaprabhu has taken a detour and he's going to Shantipur. So he goes to his parents and he asks if he can go and get Mahaprabhu's darshan. So he goes and he gets Mahaprabhu's darshan. Advaita Acharya introduces Raghunath Das Goswami, and he gets 10-15 days. He gets to serve the Lord. He gets to assist the devotees. He gets to take part in the congregational chanting of the holy names. So in the night he would serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. So this way he got the association of Mahaprabhu, and all his heart's desires were getting fulfilled. And he said that I don't want to leave. I don't want to go back home. And then Mahaprabhu said, don't take markat vairagya. Don't show false renunciation. Go back and take care of your family. So reluctantly he goes back, and then his family was also very happy because he started following Mahaprabhu's instructions, and he was starting to take care of his family and household responsibilities very nicely. And now they got him married because they were a bit insecure that this person has got the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Very soon he might renounce. So he's one of the most wealthiest personalities in the entire Bengal region, and if we get him married to a very beautiful, very chaste woman, he'll be caught up in his married household, and he'll forget about renouncing everything and become a brahmachari like you. So he decides on this, and then later he gets to know that Mahaprabhu. So he makes this deal that with his parents, that when his parents say that when Mahaprabhu comes back to Navdweep, or when he goes to Jagannath Puri, you can go and meet him again. So he would work and he would carry forward his duties like that, and then he gets to know that Nityanand Prabhu is going to Panihati. He's going on a tour from Jagannath Puri. So he gets excited and he says that I want to meet Nityanand Prabhu. But then his parents, they said that you can go, but then all the guards and security, top security will go with you so that you don't run away. And then he thought, okay, I will go, and then how beautiful Nityanand Prabhu is. Nitai Pada Kamala, Koti Chandra Shuchitala. Once the guards see Nityanand Prabhu, even they'll get attracted to Nityanand Prabhu. And you never know, all the guards and me, we'll dance, and all of us will renounce and go with Nityanand Prabhu. So that was his plan. And when he goes to Panihati, when Nityanand Prabhu is sitting, he offers his obeisances from a distance, and some devotees tell Nityananda Prabhu, they indicate that there's Raghunath Das Goswami, who's a very renounced, very surrendered devotee, and he's trying to offer you obeisances. And Nityananda Prabhu, the Avadut, he screams, I see you, you're a thief, come here. And then Raghunath Das Goswami, out of his humility, he shirks and he tries to run away. And Nityananda Prabhu drags him, and he gets him to his lotus feet, and he says, you're a thief. And then he's one of the most richest personalities in the entire Navdweep. Why? How come he's the thief? He said, you took the only possession I have in this life. You took shelter of Mahaprabhu. You took the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu without taking the shelter of me. So all the Goswamis we see, they went to Mahaprabhu through Nityananda Prabhu. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he gets the mercy of Mahaprabhu, and now he's going to Nityananda Prabhu. So it's not really an offense, but he's just in pastime. Nityananda Prabhu says that you deserve punishment, and then Raghunath Das Goswami says, whatever punishment, my lord, you willing to give, I accept. So Nityananda Prabhu says that I want you to organize a huge feast for all the devotees, and the feast should have chipped rice with curd and chapakala bananas, a special variety of bananas they have, condensed milk, fruits, nuts, sweets. And this entire feast should be prepared, and you should organize this feast, and you should serve the devotees. And Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking, is this a punishment or is this a reward? And he organized all of this because he was rich. He was a rich, affluent man. He gets 500-700 of clay pots, big pots, with thick condensed milk, yogurt, and chipped rice, fruits, nuts, sweets, bananas, all sorts of various delicacies you can fathom. He gets all of these, and then a great grand feast is organized, and suddenly the crowd, wherever prasad is, the crowd increases, it multifolds automatically. And that is the glory of Mahaprasad. So suddenly, and Nityananda Prabhu, he told Damayanti and Raghava Pandit that he'll come to their house for dinner. And Raghav Pandit had this benediction that whenever he would cook, Srimati Radharani would personally come, and she would instruct Raghava Pandit in his cooking. And in his meditation, Radharani would tell him that, put some little more salt in that, put a little more chilies in that. Chilies is not good, but put a little more chili in that. Put a little more sugar in that. So that was his meditation. So whenever they would cook, so this would happen. And Raghav Pandit, he's preparing these amazing delicacies for Nityananda Prabhu. But when he comes there, he sees Nityananda Prabhu having this massive feast. And there are so many people that some people go on the banks of Ganga. And then there are so many people that there's no more space on the banks of the Ganga. So they jump in the Ganga. And they have two pots in their hands. And they're balancing, while swimming, they're trying to eat the chira dahi, the yogurt and the chipped rice. So there's so many people, and sitting in circles, and then there's Mahaprabhu and there's Nityananda Prabhu. And suddenly only the very exalted devotees, they're able to see that Nityananda Prabhu, in his meditation, he calls Mahaprabhu and he's feeding Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is feeding Nityananda Prabhu. And from each devotee's plate, they are taking prasad and they're feeding Nityananda Prabhu, is feeding Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeding Nityananda Prabhu. So this glorious pastime pastime of punishment, where Raghunath Das Goswami gets the utmost reward in the form of punishment of serving these devotees. And then when all of this is happening, Nityananda Prabhu gets Raghunath Das Goswami, and in front of each devotee says, put your feet on top of his head and bless him, that very soon he's able to get Mahaprabhu's mercy. And then Nityananda Prabhu, with all his mercy, he puts Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shuchitala, the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, which are which cool than the rays of the billions of moons. He puts his lotus feet on Raghunath Das Goswami's head, and he blesses him that very soon he'll be able to, his heart's desire to reunite with Mahaprabhu and to serve Mahaprabhu will come true. And Mahaprabhu's personal servant Swarup Damodar will guide him in his brahmachari life. And we see that later on some remnants of these devotees were given to Raghunath Das Goswami, which he relishes, and then he serves more and more and more, and then everyone is dancing and having Hari Kirtan. So this is the story of today's festival, Panihati Chiradahi Mahamahotsav, where um, in this place of Panihati, this grand festival was celebrated, and even um, in our ISKCON temples, especially the new Panihati Dham, where Jaipatak, His Holiness Jaipatak Maharaj would go every year when his health was um, fine. He would go and he would um, make these amazing delicacies and different types of pots, and they would do fundraising with them. And you know, imagine anyone who has eaten from the offerings made by Jaipatak Swami Maharaj himself. So um, this festival holds a divine and holds a major significance in our movement, because this festival tells us that how a non-envious devotee and what ka bhasha, how Arjun asks that what are the qualities and what are the how does a great personality, how does a devotee speak, how does a devotee talk, how does a devotee walk. So we see with this personality and this non-envious nature of Raghunath Das Goswami. And later on, he's holding this divine feast, but later on in Puri we see what he's eating. The rice, which is the not even rice, the malt or the husk which is rejected by the cows. So first Raghunath Das Goswami is begging when he renounces. He's begging at the doors in Jagannath Puri, but then he thinks that sometimes some devotee gives me something and some devotee does not give me something. So the person who gives me something, I get this conception that I'm expecting things. So this is not real renunciation. And he further when he further advances, and he thinks that there are some free stalls where prasadam is distributed. So he goes there, but then he thinks that now I'm surrendered onto the providers of this free prasad booths. So he advances more, and he thinks that this is also too much materialistic, too much engagement. And then he thinks that I should, when they wash the rice, so the water which runs down, he thinks that I should just have that remnant. And then he sees that the cows are also licking that. And then the rice, which gets so stale and gets so old that even the cows don't accept, that rice Raghunath Das Goswami takes, and that's what he's accepting. And then Mahaprabhu, he asks Swarup Damodar that, what's the update, how's he doing? And then Swarup Damodar Goswami tells him that this is what your Raghunath Das Goswami is doing. Then Mahaprabhu, in ecstasy, he runs to Raghunath Das Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami is trying to hide. There's a very beautiful painting, if you've seen. He's trying to hide, and Mahaprabhu, like this, he's trying to have it. And he takes it because Mahaprabhu is Ajanubahu. He's got long arms. He snatches it and he takes it, and he's saying, I'm relishing the ecstatic symptoms, I'm relishing the bhakti. Today, this is what you were hiding, this is the treasure you had. And then that is what Mahaprabhu is accepting. So, bhalo na khaibe, bhalo na pehribe, grame varta na kahibe, grame varta na shunibe. I think this verse is there. And this is one of the instructions. He's so renounced, and he's just like a person when a person passes stool, they don't even look back and they just go. That's what he was doing. He wasn't concerned. He was so unattached. He got the best family he was born in. He got the best wealth one can fathom. He got the best wife to serve. But all of it, he just gave up. And how Yamunacharya, he makes this point that when I'm experiencing newer and new mellows of bhakti, the desire of the sex desire, when I think of it, my lips curl and I think of spitting and I get disgusted. So this is what we see in Raghunath Das Goswami's personality, that his renunciation and his attachment towards holy name and the Supreme Lord. So we seeing these great exalted personalities, and we see here that Dhruva, who will very soon come to that platform of Bhagavad Akinchana, and he'll very soon become a devotee of the Lord, where Narad Muni will instruct him that the great Narad Muni told Dhruva Maharaj, the instruction given by your mother Suniti to follow the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is just suitable for you. You should therefore completely absorb yourself in the devotional service of the Lord. So these instructions will later come, that when Narad Muni is telling him, he assesses, he sees his disciple and he sees that he's qualified, and he tells him the prayojan. So he tells him the abhiday, which will very soon lead him to his prayojan, Gopinath, Lord Krishna Garba. It's time. Do we have any questions, comments, suggestions, or feedback? Yes, Prabhu. Very good question, Prabhu. So, again, I was listening to His Honours Radha Govindas Goswami Maharaj, and when Narad Muni was talking to Dhruva, so Maharaj was telling that, you being angry at Suniti will not yield any result, because if it was up to Suniti, if it was up to her, you wouldn't even be born, because she would just want her son Uttam to become the king and to inherit the kingdom. So it's not up to Suniti, and it's not up to it's not because of her deeds that you are in this predicament. So it is up to you, it is because of your own sins. But yes, Suniti actually, there was envy in her heart towards Dhruva's family, Suruchi, because I'm missing the Suruchi, and so because although she gives this good advice of going to the forest and surrendering to the Lord, in her heart she was thinking that when this child goes to the forest, he may get swallowed by a wild animal, or he may get sick, or he may die, and then the thorn in my path will get removed. And above all that, when he goes to the forest, how much separation and how much pain it will give to Suniti. So how much pain and suffering it will give to Suniti, and she was thinking this way. But then advice coming from whether coming from a saintly or an unsaintly person, good advice should always be taken, and that's what we see that Dhruva did, and he got the perfection of his life. He got Krishna. So that's the first point, and the second is envy. Naturally, I think one of the Vaishnav, very important Vaishnav texts, where they say that, I'm forgetting the name of the text, they were talking about how all these qualities, all these disqualifications, like lust, if someone has lust, they can use it in Krishna's service by getting into Grahastha ashram and giving birth to Krishna conscious children. Anger, Bhakta Dveshi Jane, so they can use anger towards people who envy devotees and who blaspheme devotees. And so they were listing all these qualities, but then we see that the quality of envy is something which is not. Envy means no vacancy. Envy cannot be used in the service of Krishna, because envy is that major disease by which we hear, and envy doesn't let us have that appreciation towards devotees, towards Krishna, because imagine you're serving devotees, you're doing kirtan, and you're having Harinam Sankirtan, which is the Yoga Dharma. Yagya Sankirtanay Pray Yajanti Sumedasa. The Harinam Sankirtan is going on, and someone is playing very nice mridanga, and you think, oh, this person is playing so nicely, and you feel envy towards him. Then although you're doing Harinam Sankirtan, you're doing the prime most important thing in this world, but then you're having envy in your heart. So it doesn't really have it. Bahujanma kari yadi Shravana Kirtan tabutana paye Krishna Premadan. So you are, although you're engaging in that devotional service, but that envy in your heart will not let that Bhakti Lata beach to grow. But whereas appreciation towards devotees, and humility and submissiveness. Just like how Ed Prabhu is such a wonderful kirtanya, I beg to learn kirtan from him. Although I'm showing false humility here, but this is what devotee community should be. That if someone is better than us, rather than being envious, we should go and we should Vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya ubdekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. We should surrender onto their lotus feet and learn those qualities from them, and perfect our life. We see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is making this point: "O Arjuna, because you're non-envious, that is why I'm giving you this divine knowledge." So, envy is one quality. It's like COVID-19. We should try as much as possible to wear gloves, masks, and sanitizer, like Harinam and Hari Katha, where especially if you listen to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj's lectures, there are 3 words he'll use every time, and one verse he'll use every time. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanaya sadari. I don't remember a lecture of him where he hasn't quoted this verse. Because this verse is so important that you have to be more tolerant and you have to be more humble than a tree and than a blade of grass, and surrender to the Lord. So humility is an ornament of a devotee. One should always wear it, just like they wear kanti. And when you are humble, that seed of envy, you don't let it sprout. And when you surrender to devotees, that way you'll be able to curb it, and you'll be able to, just like how we were envious of Krishna and we are in this material world, but we are serving Krishna, and we say, "Oh Lord, I repent for my nature of independent mentality of enjoying independently," and we trying to do bhakti so that the Lord has mercy on us and blesses us and accepts us back. So serving devotees with humility and surrendering to them should help. We can ask senior devotees what helps. Yes, Rudy. Definitely, it is very nice question, bro. Definitely, it is because of our envious. It is because of our previous conditioning and enjoying mentality that we do activities in this world. How actually I had this point in my notes, and I wanted to cover this. How so we perform an activity, and doing that karma, there are various multiple reasons, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So what Narada Muni is also trying to tell Dhruva is that don't get so agitated and don't try to do such ugra karma, just renouncing everything and going to the forest just because your mother insulted you. So just accept that karma, because even we say that in our life we have so many rins. According to the Vedic philosophy, you've got 5 types of rins. You've got Dev rin, Pitr rin, Put rin, Rishi rin, and one more. Anyone knows? Pitra, did I cover Pitra? So Dev rin, Rishi rin, Pitra rin, Nri rin, and Bhuta rin. So we've got debt we supposed to give to gods, sages, ancestors, humanity, and then plants and animals, flora and fauna we see around us. So all these endeavors we do, they get us into this karmic cycle of continuously doing activities. But when we surrender those activities, that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna in second and third chapter, that the nishkam karma, when you do, just like um, if someone points, if if a soldier off duty kills someone on the street, he gets charged. But if the same soldier kills someone on the battlefield, he gets rewarded. So it's the same activity of killing, but the consciousness and the intention behind it is different. Although he's killing, but on the streets he's killing to maybe show his power, or maybe just to, just because he got mad or something. But on the battlefield where he's killing, he's actually doing it for a higher cause. He's doing it for the country, and the government may even reward him for that. So Krishna, what I'm trying to say is that when we do activities for our own senses, then we get more entangled into this law of karma. But when we do the same activities, keeping Krishna in the forefront, and the intention of serving Krishna, just like you from Nepal, you came to this distant land. But what are you doing? You're serving the divine lotus feet of Guru Maharaj, and you're serving the lotus feet of Radha Gopinath. So you're dovetailing those, all you have in life, you're dovetailing it in Krishna's service. And so that's the way. It's like you're doing the same activities, but you have this intention of serving and pleasing Krishna in your mind. And then even if you're doing the same activities, now you're not caught and binded in the yarn of the karmic actions and reactions. Was that your question, and does it answer you? What was your question again, bro? Okay. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I went over time. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Garanga, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chiradhai Panihati Maha Mahotsav ki jai.